I'll figure out how to download it.
We are live.
Hey, everyone.
We'll wait for everybody to hop in. It usually takes a minute or two for the algorithms to get going.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to post it, too. Dang it. I could do it on my other. Because I have my phone with me, so I could say.
There we go.
Hey, guys.
Hola, ¿qué tal, Agus? Hey, Miriam. How are you, lovely?
Hello?
Are you getting a phone call?
I don't know. It was weird. I keep getting the funeral. Ever since I got the day of the permit, the very same day I started getting the funeral arrangement calls again. And it keeps coming from different numbers.
Nuts. Hi, Amy. Hey, Cajun Juju.
Oh, hey, Amy. Hey, everyone. Muriel. I keep calling. I'm sorry. I know. I love Muriel. But I don't know why. Muriel just tickles me.
It just sticks in my head, too. I know.
Like, I know it's not your name, Miriam, and I love your name. It's like, it's just so funny. Amy, Haggis, and Cajun Juju. How was everybody? I'm still learning this thing, so forgive me. I can't post it on mine yet. Lucy, it's okay. Sorry, my dogs.
That's okay. Hey, Bridget.
Hey, Bridget.
Hi, Jody. Yeah, we're still trying to teach Audit how to use
not technologically advanced. But at least I did my brick wall. I like it because sometimes you feel like you're hitting a brick wall, or educating. We're learning something, right? Another brick in the wall. I don't know.
I know. I grabbed that picture for the Shave Fat Grammy for that Cricket Cinema.
Yeah, I need to get one like that. That's so cute. Oh, and I thank you, Rona, for doing this for me because, like, you can obviously see I don't know what I'm doing. I know CPRAs, but I don't know this, like, how to do this yet. And hey, Gina, and so thank you, and it's fun.
Hey, She's like
treasure. We're partners in crime. Well,
we are. We're partners in crime. That's for sure.
Yeah. Although, allegedly, not real crime. I get to see them editing that. Look, they admit it.
I know, right?
Yeah. Disclaimer: we're joking. We're sarcastic.
They're saying they're criminals.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Peter. Partners in justice. Yes, I like that.
Well, hello, Miss Peacock. Hello, Peter.
Thank you, Miriam. Miriam, I'm going to call you by your real name because I don't want to. I got to stop that.
Peter, thank you for redoing that description for me. I appreciate it. I put it on here.
Awesome. I know I meant to do one and I forgot. I got the picture. I love the little thumbnail. I got so big.
Yeah,
I got to do the
that was cute.
It is cute.
I said, obviously, I'm the one with the ponytail, right?
It's like I gave like it kind of gets to know your, in mine they messed up. They gave me brown hair, and I'm like, no, my character, like, it start messing, it start cross. It was funny. I had to do that. It was like my 4th attempt.
Yeah. Oh, that was cute. Well, thank you.
Sure, I like it. But guess what? Today we're talking about. Can I dun da da da?
Dun da da. Yep. Go ahead.
Los Feliz Neighborhood Council. I don't know if anyone remembers. I should have had like a little preview of when. Let me turn this off so it doesn't. Of when. I think his name is. I'm so bad with his name. I want to say Mateos. At the police commission meeting, he pulled us aside. Laura and I were there and told us that Scientology was at the Los Feliz Neighborhood Council because the Neighborhood Council, it was in their public safety committee. They were talking about the CIS about going against the one where they can't protest 300 feet, whatever, from a sensitive area. And Scientology showed up to that meeting to get to dissuade them and change their minds. I'm still waiting on the answers. I don't know how they voted yet. I'm still working on that, like how they voted, if it got escalated, and stuff like that. But we don't have the answers yet.
So, so for those of us not in your area, Los Feliz, is that like North Hollywood or Westboro or what is Los Feliz?
Okay, Los Feliz. Okay, do you know where Big Blue is, right? You know where I get off at the Metro, always right there, that corner where the
Okay.
possum was, and like I just go like a half a block, you pass. Like when I get off the Metro, right, I make a right, and then you have the Starbucks, and then you have Big Blue. If I got out and instead of making the right, I'd make it like a full, not a left at the same street, but like a left, like, because it's like a four-way street,
Okay.
and so I don't know what. So instead of going this way, if I went to the bottom, like say if it's a T street, whatever, like I'd be, instead of going to the right there, I'd be going to the bottom, the bottom way. Forgive me, guys, I'm forgetting how to speak English, obviously. And so it's just right down there. It's very, very close to Big Blue. It's like the beginning of it, and it's a nice little neighborhood. It's it's
So
a cute
Los
neighborhood.
Feliz is a neighborhood council like West and Hollywood. Those
Like East Hollywood, yeah. No, they're well, kind of. I think they're a little bit more. I don't know how to say it and say it respectfully.
no, but it's a neighborhood council though.
Oh, Los Feliz is we're dealing with the neighborhood council, but
I
Los Feliz
knew I'd
itself
get
is
that
a
out of you.
neighborhood right next to not right next to East Hollywood. It borders like Kaiser Hospital is in, I
Okay.
believe, Los Feliz. Okay. And Scientology, so right across the street where Kaiser Hospital is, because they dealt with the issue of their garage, that was considered Los Feliz, and it's right across the street. So I think that street, like Sunset, is like probably the borderline. One side is Los Feliz, and the other side is East Hollywood. That's how I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know all the boundaries, but that's how close it is.
Okay, so it is a neighborhood council, just like.
Oh yeah, the neighborhood council, just like any neighborhood council, except they're a little bit more.
Is there a Scientology mission there? Haggis asks.
There is a Scientology mission, and we're gonna find out a little bit more about that. And kind of here, this is put it this way. This is just a can of worms that is opening up. Had no idea this was going on right in the very next neighborhood, and until Mateos, forgive me, Mateos, if I'm butchering your name. He came up and told us about this, that they went to a meeting. He didn't say anything more, but then as I did a CPRA and I started digging, I'm like, okay, there's like some connections, and there's definitely, they need to be, this is the new, when we went to CHNC, then we're now at East Hollywood Neighborhood Council. Los Feliz has to be on our radar now, because even more so, because it's like having, well, not really more so, but just as much, because it's like having yellow shirt. You know how Jeff is so, you're going to see how these people are.
Yellow shirt is CHNC, right?
No, East Hollywood.
East.
And bid.
Okay.
East Hollywood bid.
And then Central is blue.
No, East Hollywood's blue. Central is Sunshine, and that's the test center. Sunshine and I keep wanting to call her Elvira. It's not like it doesn't fit. No, sorry. It's Elvina and Sunshine. That's Central Hollywood. That's test center. You go down the road where East Hollywood bid, East Hollywood Neighborhood Council. That's blue. So this one is going to be Los Feliz, which is going to be the mission, which I didn't know existed. Hey, I guess, yeah, but there is a mission there. And this is also where I believe the studios, their golden whatever studios is. So you're going to see stuff about the studio. So we haven't focused on any of this. So it's a whole new arena to get involved with.
I know.
Really excited about this.
Just getting used to the east and the central and the north and all that. So
and we
the valley.
At you.
I didn't know that we had extra characters to add in there. That I have to remember now.
Whole new set of characters. Mind you, we have 99 neighborhood councils in Los Angeles.
99?
So, 99 of them, yes.
So, okay, we'll get on to the CPRAs.
So you can ask your question, because maybe.
You know where they had that printing company that you guys found that one time? Mm-hmm. What council is that? What area is that?
That's Chatsworth in the Valley. So I'm not sure because there's 99 of them. I would have to figure out exactly where that falls in. It could be like the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council. There's so many, because what happened, like there's 15 council districts. That's the people that we go and they can't stand us talking, the 15 of them. And each of the 15 has not quite, they have a number of them within their boundary. So we're going to say on average, right, if there's 15 and there's 99, someone do the math, I'm going to say, what is that, 7 or 8? And so they each have certain neighbors. So they chop it up into neighborhoods. And the neighborhoods all have like their little neighborhood councils. They get a certain budget every year, drastically going down, right? Bridge Publications, that was it. And that's how we deal. So they're elected, but they're volunteers. They're not really politicians. So that's why I love the neighborhood council system. It's real people trying to just help out their community, but it's also the perfect breeding ground for Scientology to get their foot in. And they do.
Exactly.
And they are. And you're going to see here, this is a pretty big, and like, I don't know. I owe Mateos a coffee or something because I think this is going to be pretty big.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're bringing it up. Hey, Brian.
Yes.
Hi, Jojo. If I didn't say hi.
Hey guys.
For those that I didn't say hello to, hello.
Yes, me too. I see Treasure Hunter, Brian. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Treasure Finder. And so, yes, there's going to be, so if anyone feels not bored because we have enough drama already with all the, Eat Blue and whatever, but now we're going to have more digging. So there might be some people that could really get digging for us and find out stuff. And this, if I can say a little bit about this neighborhood council.
Okay.
Henry and I did go to one of their meetings online, but most of their meetings seem to be in person, but they have a huge council and they have a ton of committees. It's a very, very active, very prolific neighborhood council. And so I can see why Scientology is kind of, I think, focusing on these guys. They have a big reach. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I'm really excited to be able to bring this today. And thank you, Mona. And like I said, it'll be to be continued because I'm waiting for more answers. Now I'll shut up. Let's go. Hi, Marie.
That's okay. So you wanted to look at item number 10?
Yes, this is the agenda that Mateos was telling me about this meeting. He even remembered the date. He's like, it was November 13th. They had a public safety meeting or whatever they call their public safety committee. And he said that the committee was voting to not support that. Remember the rule that Bob and Katie Orlovsky, they're trying to get where you can't protest within 300 feet of a sensitive area like a church or a hospital.
Right.
And a bunch, and they got such backlash, they put it on the back burner. So this committee was voting to not support that law. But but Scientology came up to convince them to support it. And so I still don't know, like I said, what the response is, but you can see item number 10, BI is what they were voting on. And I still, like I said, I wanted to get this out there. We'll figure out what they voted on. It will, we'll figure all this out. But so if you go down and scroll down to 10, because we don't need to read the whole entire.
Yep. No, that's agenda. Okay.
And so this is number 10.
Right.
Agenda
10B, 1.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You're going to be the reader?
So, sure. So follow up from the previous meetings. This is old business. And this is the CIS in opposition. Council File 240910. Entrance obstruction, buffer zone, religious institution entrance, person's right to protest. Ada brought this up.
Right. And so see, they were trying to get a CIS, which is a community impact statement. And that's what the main, besides giving out money for like local things, that's their main job, is to either to give feedback to the city council on the CI, on the on whatever agenda items are up with the city council. So like I said, they were going to go against it, but basically, I mean, Scientology must have made a big enough presence for Mateos to remember, to be able to tell us all these months later. But we'll find out.
This is November 13th. Okay. Mm-hmm. So drive me where you want me to go next, to the next one?
We could just go to and so what I did with this, as I asked for different things, and there may be some duplicates here because I was having, like, I was just trying to send it quick. So if it's a duplicate, we'll just pass on. But We'll just go through them, and I think that's a great idea, Haggis.
Okay, so there's like 14 to 17 of them. There's quite a few of them. Some of them
Yeah,
may be
and I think some
duplicate.
of them are duplicates because I think
If
there
they're
was only like
duplicate,
10.
we'll just kind of scroll through them. So this is the next one. Did it come up on the?
And guys, I'm gonna have to wait, close chat for some reason. I'm on a new thing, so I'm not having a hard time seeing. So I'm gonna have to close chat for a minute, just so I can make it a big face screen. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Would you like for me to just make this big?
I think we're good. Wait, I think I'm good now, because for some reason it's doing something weird with the chat's like making it like almost like a thumbnail. I'll get back to the chat though. You want to read it? Like this is just.
Sure. Let me go. You drive chat. I'll do this. So this is a message from Alexandra Pina to Los Filos. We are having a cleanup. The message is, I volunteer at the Church of Scientology on Hillhurst. During the summer, we normally do a cleanup every month. We heard that you guys do the same, and we would love to do one together. We normally do it during the week. We are going to have one this upcoming week on Tuesday, the 30th of May. We supply all the cleaning materials and snacks afterwards. Ooh, yummy. We would love to do something together to help clean up and brighten our neighborhood. Safe pointing.
Yes, safe pointing. And wait, and if I can tell, what, like if you look at his, there you didn't redact us, so I don't need to worry about it. If I'm not mistaken, his email address, is it from a wonky site?
It's from a weird site, cmnwix.com, something like that.
Okay, see, this is what all the, like almost all the complaint letters that get sent in are from these wonky, like it's like maybe 100 neighbors calling and complaining against us. And all from these kind of wonky different websites. No one has Gmail, nobody has Yahoo, nobody has Proton. They all have this weird stuff, or they have like Scientology.net, whatever, but for Scientologists. So this is really weird. But this guy, okay, here's the cleanup. And
Sorry.
so, yes, they're safe pointing, they're inviting. They do that here too in the North Hollywood one. They want to join forces and we'll provide everything because that stuff gets expensive. And it's really the neighborhood council. Yeah, they're like, well, because they don't have a whole lot of money to spend. They don't want to spend, so they're like, yeah, of course they jump on this stuff all the time. This is how they get neighborhood councils, is these cleanups, because that's a big issue here in LA. The dumping, the dirt, the streets, they don't get cleaned right. And so this is the perfect
So
way to
can I ask you, Alexandra Pina is the Scientologist?
Yes, because he said a volunteer for Scientology, he said. So I'm thinking maybe they're with the mission, but we should note, take note of this name. And they didn't redact the email address, so that's on them. But these are people that we need to start keeping track of and then seeing where he fits in along this. And we need to keep track of, like, everybody should be signing up for lawful lease, all these, for their neighborhood council newsletters and stuff. Because if we start seeing, neighborhood cleanup, and we start seeing this name or this, we need to monitor this stuff. So we need, that's why I'm asking for volunteers, because it's like so hard for me to keep all of it. But this needs to be on our monitor.
And I would agree. Alexandra probably is a she.
Could be.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, very well could be. I think so. It's like, I think we'll learn more too as we go along. Yeah,
we have sleuths in the chat.
I know, that's why I want to do this. That's why I love coming to the team, like the researchers, the investigators, and they have been in Sciento for at least 10 years. Interesting. See how quick, it is a lady. Okay. Yeah. And yes. And wedgie to everyone who doesn't like this. I love that, Miriam. Yes. Everyone wedgie if you don't like the stream. And so, yes. So, okay. So we have this. So this is classic safe pointing lost police. Okay.
Okay. On to the next one. I'm just going to do them in the order that you said.
It's okay, because we could come back and forth if it's out of order. It doesn't really, because they didn't send it like normally. they send things like the city sends things like, and just, you could just scroll down. Here they didn't. It was, everything was separate. So it makes it really hard, but we'll get through it. Okay.
So, okay, here's the next one. Hi, Ada. Unfortunately, I don't think I will be able to make it tonight, but definitely want to attend the next one. Kind regards, Lisa. And this comes from Lisa Alexandre.
Yes. And then what was the last name?
The last one, the first name was Alexandra.
Right. So I think it's her. I wanted to save that. I think it's her, or maybe a connection. I don't know, because these people get different names. They use multiple names, they do that. So it may not be her, but
she's from Scientology Media Productions.
yes. Yes,
And
she
it's
is.
coming from Scientologymedia.net.
Yep. But they use different names, so we don't know. So whatever hat they're wearing. And
yep.
See, in their meetings, unfortunately, their meetings are not, I wish it was hybrid, but it's not, it's in person. So I don't know when their next meeting is, but I'm going to try to, I'm sorry I won't have to twist Henry's arm too much, because it was fascinating. And anyone else that would like to come, I would love them to come.
Okay, I'm going to go to the next one here.
Yeah, nothing that's too much to see here.
No, a site visitor just submitted your form from Scientology.net. I bet it was probably the same person.
Yeah.
And hi, Lisa. I hope your week is off to a great start. Would it be possible to take you up on your invitation to visit you at the studio on Thursday this week? We, Celine and I, can come by any time that works for you. I look forward to hearing from you. Sincerely, Brian M.
Okay, so these are so Brian and Celine, we need to look them up. They're obviously on the neighborhood council. Apparently, probably, when does this come out? When is this email from?
July 22nd.
Okay, so this happened before their big meeting. So apparently, I guess what is happening here in the storyline is that Scientology has offered them, oh, come see our studio. We'll give you the grand tour. And Brian, who, right. And who's the other one? Celine.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We have to figure out who they are. They want to take her up on it. But here's the answer is pretty funny. Like, I was kind of surprised by not surprised. I wasn't surprised, but
it just says, hi, Brian. Great. Happy to speak with you further. Let's talk after the holiday. Monday, July 8th sounds good to me. I'm available anytime after 1:30. Should I go to the bottom and read up? Have a nice weekend and happy 4th, full of barbecue and sunshine. Kind regards, Lisa. Lisa, you're not getting the day off. I don't know why you want everybody else to be happy.
Because you'll see what she's up to.
Okay. Hi, Lisa. I'm glad you are interested in talking more. No rush on this. Want to connect after the holiday? Monday, July 8th is wide open for me, or Tuesday anytime except 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Looking forward to it. Have a great weekend and a wonderful holiday.
Keep going.
Hi, Brian. Great to hear from you. Yes, I think we haven't seen each other since the meeting at the alcove. That's okay. We'll talk about that one in a second. The event at the firehouse sounds like it went very well. We've had several of the firemen over for a quick tour in the past couple of years. I'd love to speak about the possibility of a Cultural Affairs Committee sponsored event tour about the history of the studio with the neighborhood council. It does have a rich history, and a lot has been done to restore the historic corridors and the whole studio lot for that matter. We have quite a lot happening right now with the TV production for the upcoming season, but please let me know when you are available to speak so we can arrange a call.
And I want to unpack that. There's a lot to unpack with that one. Should we go back into this? I want to unpack a lot here. Okay, so this is a lot. So basically, they offered the neighborhood council, oh, come see our studio. And like she's even hitting there, oh, it's historical restoration. And I remember Aaron saying that David Miscavige is obsessed with historical preservation, historical properties. And so that sticks in my head. And so here she's like referring to that. So it's like their mantra, but she's kind of blowing them off. Like there's no way. First of all, the studio is not going to be so busy they work all the time anyway, right? So there's no way that they're not available the weekend or whatever, unless they're having an event. But still, they have so many. There's no way. So she's blowing them off. They don't want them there, right? They don't want us inside. They want to offer it, but they want to control it. They want it to be when they say. They'll never just say, "Oh yeah, come on over." That's too friendly. They will never. I don't think they'll ever do that. And so, and now she's talking. Okay, so she's doing that. So she's putting them off. She's trying to take control. And I would love to hear from. I would love to hear from and Aaron, Natalie, Laura, any of these, any of them, Serge, to tell us what the Scientology psychology that's going into this, because you feel it. To me, I feel it. You can feel them doing something, and then the possibility, right, of the Cultural Affairs Committee they want to sponsor something, okay, where they're usually the ones sponsoring, right? They sponsor people to come to their events so they can close their streets. But I'm like, I want to know more about, so I really want to follow this Cultural Affairs Committee, and we'll learn more about this committee later and all this stuff. Like, it's going to get more into it. But they're talking about the history of the studio, and there's something else I wanted to say. Right, to restore historic corridors and the whole studio, for that matter. We know they're not going to be able to see the whole studio, but right now she's kind of blown up. But we have a lot happening right now, like there's an upcoming season, so she's setting that stage where, you know what I mean, where it's not like, no, we're not, you just see them doing, like, they're playing their shenanigans. But that's it for now. But we have to remember Cultural Affairs Committee.
So on that. She mentioned the alcove.
Look into that too.
We're going to talk about that.
I think that's where they meet. Some of their meetings meet. They have, like I said, I've never seen such a huge neighborhood council in any, like, I've been dealing with this system for so many years, but I've never looked at this one. I've never seen a committee. I've seen them with a lot of people on a board, but never like as many committees as they have. And they meet at all different places. Also important to note is that they say that the fire department has been there over the years. That we need to deal with that. That is going to have to come up at fire commission meetings. I'm CPRAing who came when and where, and yeah. So they're giving us the roadmap of what we need to look at. And remember her name, Lisa Alexander.
Who was talking about the alcove? Was that Aaron and them talking about the alcove in Clearwater, or was it here? Something to do.
Well, I did hear Aaron talking about that. There's a mission.
There's a place called the Alcove for the senior center down there. I'm getting that confused.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And see, I listen. I just don't comprehend.
We listen, right? We're hearing you.
Okay, right. So it was great to hear your voice on the call with DOT a few weeks ago. I don't think we've seen each other in the neighborhood council meetings since before the pandemic. That was a long time ago. We had a great event at the firehouse last week, and the firefighters started a lively discussion around your studio, asking questions about its early history in the silent era. None of us really knew much, but we've enjoyed researching the story over the past couple of days. I only just learned that the classics like The Invasion of the Body Snatchers and El Cid were filmed there. Do you think there's a potential for the Cultural Affairs Committee to sponsor an event about the history of your studio? Would you be willing to offer a neighborhood council sponsored tour for interested Los Feliz residents? If any of this sounds interesting, I'd love to connect on the phone.
Wait, there's more sometime in the next few weeks to discuss further. What's the date time between this and the does it have like a date? I'm just curious how long it took her to respond.
This is 6/24/24.
And she responded?
June 27th, so 3 days later.
Okay. Well, see, this is interesting because to me, Brian is, well, he's obviously trying to connect. Like he's throwing a lot of like, oh, the fire, we're all talking about you, the firefighter. It's almost like he knows Scientology's their bells and whistles, you know what I mean? Because he's like, oh, the firefighters. I love the save point, right? We were talking about your studio, but it's like I feel like he's using his own like little psychological manipulations. I'm curious what he does to get her, interested in doing what they want to do. And then, but he's going to blow them off.
Is this Bridge Publications?
What, this, Brian?
Yeah, the place that they want to go tour, the media place.
No, the media place, I believe, is the studio.
Right, is the Studio Bridge Publications?
I think Bridge Publications is their like printing press in
Okay.
Chatsworth. So I think this is the actual where they film all their stuff. I mean, I know they film on Gold Base too, but
I know, that's
I
what I'm
know
saying. I thought they do all their filming over at Gold Base.
they bought this place though, and I don't know how many years it's been, but this place got them because they were using their slaves to make video, their films and stuff, or act in it and do sound or whatever, and somebody sued and made that. So now the people who work in the film there, they have to be paid full wages. They can't do so. So that's a good gig to get if you're a Scientologist. So they won that battle. So why can't we win that battle with the people on the street, that are cleaning the street? That's why I push so hard, because yes, they won that battle. So these people have to be paid. They lost. So, but we need to talk about that more too. We need to maybe look into how that happened and make sure I'm correct, because that's just what I read and heard. But we need to look more into that. But you see, like trying to build a relationship, and but like he's doing all the flattering. She's like, thanks for the flattery. Yeah, it's exciting. We love it. But, also pushing, like, what I mean? Not just the open door policy, like they all are welcome, come in anytime.
It would be kind of cool, I guess you can call it, is if we could get some people that are historians in this community to tell us some bad things that have happened there.
That's a good idea.
I mean, that's kind of an ick feeling, but maybe people that
I know the right person too. I have a friend, but I don't know if I haven't seen him in so long. And the funny thing is, he used to be on East Hollywood Neighborhood Council, and he's a historian. So that's close enough to that area. He would probably know stuff. I have to see if I don't know if he's still.
See if somebody could spill the tea about some negative things that have happened there. And so that way we can dirty the water a little bit.
Yeah. And like, it's not as like, yeah, it's interesting. I'd like to know more about that property. If anyone wants to do, like, I love these like deep dives, and I like to put them on the Substack too. Like, look, like I have so many ideas for that. That opposition research, that's it. And yeah, I like to post this stuff and get the different stories. Yeah, I could do a whole Substack on, well, yeah, this happened, but so did this, and this. So anyone wants to
like the testing center, there's been several people that have unalived themselves in there or were killed in there. And
back when it was a hotel, or
no,
recent?
Well, yeah, well, relatively, yes.
See,
since Scientology might be there. I've got them on my Scientology Crimes channel. There's a couple of them on there.
Okay, I need to see those, because I'll do a Substack. I want to do more like these articles of really just kind of showing this stuff.
Yeah, there's the story of Marie Billheimer. Billheimer, yes, I believe that was her last name. And she went to go to work. Her and her husband were both in the Sea Org, and her husband had hung himself. And she went right past the floor that he was, and nobody told her. She goes to work. It's a horrible story.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have an update too. I don't know if I'm going to post it, but what happened yesterday, finding out some interesting stuff. I don't know if we should make that a separate. I guess I can maybe at the end we'll go through this, because I want to post these videos so in its own category. So when people are looking for things, they'll be. I'll tag it real good to, so people can look at Los Feliz, be titled correctly and stuff.
Okay, but ready for the next one?
Yeah, I'm ready. Is that the end of that one, or is it?
That was the end of that one. Okay. So this goes way back to 2020. We're going to the way back here. And it is, I was going to see if there was one. So I'm going to go to the bottom and work my way up, because they always put these upside down. Yeah. Hi, Deborah. I hope you and your family are well. We have a small crew still here at the studio running the TV network, and we've created a prevention resource center for people in the community to be able to download resources. Would it be possible to share this with the neighborhood council and our committee I'm providing a link below. It has everything from PSA to booklets and signs that can be printed out. Kind regards, Lisa.
Okay, can they get that? Can we give them, we need to find out if that still exists, because this is from 2020. So like he said, pre-pandemic, that's probably right around the time, you know.
So it would be www.scientology.org/prevention is the, let me see if I can't click on it.
And /. So if anyone can, and if anyone finds this stuff, please email us. You know, because I really want this info too.
So then her response, thanks, Deborah. I am well. I think I've sanitized my fingerprints off, but all is good. Hello, Celine and Joanne. I would really like to contribute the resources we've created to the LFNC website. The PSA is in a version that without our sponsored by, and all of the signage is very generic. Please let me know if I can provide this in a format that is easily accessible.
See how
Again.
they got to get their, like they know, okay, it's controversial, but this is just, you know, generic. It's, you know, it's a little bit of helpful information that everyone can, you know, praise. It's nothing to see here. It's that kind of approach that just like they do with their way to happiness. They really honestly believe that that's not Scientology, and they pass it out to everyone thinking that this is stuff that everyone would want to hear. And, you know, I'm curious to see if they did put anything up there. Well, I need to go ask, like, do an update on that too. What did they put up there?
Well, thank you, Marie, for staying a member. I appreciate it.
Oh, sorry, I'm missing chat. Sorry, guys. I made it small.
So there's a Haggis found one. It's called
This is a good question.
Well.
Oh, huh? Sorry.
It's called Stay Well instead of Prevention. They must have changed the name.
Because maybe they got a lot of backlash. Interesting. And that is current?
That's the current one, yes.
You email it to me, I guess, please. So it's interesting. Okay, so the other one went down, probably got. Yeah, they are kryptonite for Scientology, Miriam. I agree with you. Right. And after all the crimes, they still believe they have good intentions. Yep, Carla, I mean, I don't know if they believe they have good intentions. I honestly don't know if they really believe it, or they're just on a mission and they've like, well, we have to do this because we have to, you know, we have our mission. So I don't know what their intentions are. It's hard to predict. But anyway.
Well, if history says anything about anything current, it's their evil intentions. So
there you go.
We'll just go off from history, right?
Yep, I think so. All right. So is that the end of that one, or is it still?
That was the end of that one.
I have to make this one smaller. Sorry, guys. Try to make it small just while I'm going along with this.
So they're talking about a sample letter, a concept letter. We don't have a copy of the concept letter.
So I'm going to go through all these and have a repeat of like everything we find out. So I did some already, but some things I missed, you know, just to go further back and to say, hey, what happened with this? No, but I think there is eventually a letter.
I have the copy. I found the copy. It clicked me. Would you like for me to?
Sure. I mean, if you want, or do you think it's? So this is going to, okay, so it's going to Raman.
It's only 2 pages.
Supervisors.
It's going to Raman, Horvath, and Berger.
Now, Berger, see, Horvath and Berger are the county supervisors. Berger's actually mine, so I don't know why they did it. Horvath is theirs, but maybe there's a borderline that Berger has in part of their district.
So this is, it's just a form letter. It doesn't have a date on there, but we know it was from a while ago. The devastating fires that recently struck Los Angeles, it could have been this summer, resulted in immense destruction and tragic loss of life. Compounding this tragedy, many homeowners lost their fire insurance prior to the disaster, making rebuilding efforts even more difficult. This disaster underscores the urgent need for our city to proactively address the effects of climate change and ensure that affected communities are rebuilt with long-term resilience in mind. However, we are deeply disappointed by the city and county's recent decisions to roll back essential clean energy and zoning regulations. These policies were hard-won steps toward sustainability and disaster preparedness, and reversing them only exacerbates our vulnerabilities. Additionally, we are concerned that these actions disenfranchise renters, stripping them of their right to return to the rebuilt rental properties.
Okay, so this is more from the neighborhood council. Oh, go ahead. It's not, okay, sorry.
No, I was just,
Yeah.
okay, so this is from the neighborhood council. I thought
Yeah.
this was Scientology writing it. I went, why are they writing this? But
Yeah,
okay.
no, so it's basically after the fire, but for some reason, if it's part of the Scientology thing and fires, that we may see, this is something we probably have to follow. This is current, and so we may have to see where this leads. So they may get themselves involved with this because they're going to want to do whatever best suits Scientology. They have their own, so this is something just to put on to watch.
Okay. And
It was
yes,
enough
that
for
is
them to
current.
see.
I
Wait,
thought that was an older one. It's not.
no, it's current.
So then this is April 14th, 2025. It's one page. Really wanted to make it the meeting, got tied up at the studio. I'm very sorry. I would love to know how it went, and I'm especially interested in Adopt a Median program, Natives for Nature, as well as information on dark sky. Well, there's a lot of code words in there, huh?
Yes, I know it's not, okay, I did put a CPRA in for what are these things and what's their involvement. I can discuss Adopt a Median, because that's the, Burbank Boulevard, North Hollywood one did the Adopt a Median. They came and they like convinced them to let them adopt it. And because they bring the promise that, well, we're going to take care of it. We're going to make it look beautiful. We're going to keep it clean. We're going to take on all the responsibilities. They haven't. I mean, I took pictures. I went over there. I should show pictures of how well they are. The billions of dollars they have, right? But they don't have any signs that say it's theirs. But they just don't want, because it's near their property, they just want to own, like, it's like a way to own that piece of property. And that's, to me, all they're doing, because they didn't do squat to maintain it, hardly. I'm not saying they don't maybe trim it once in a while, basic bare minimum, bare bones, but they don't want the city there, because that's what, more eyes. Every time the city comes and maintains it within eye shot of their property, they don't want that. So they're like, we're taking care of it. But back then, nobody understood that that's what's going on. Now I got it. Now I can see what they're doing. So I would like to find out what median it is and if they got it. And we need to fight those. Like, those are even little ones. And that goes through, it starts with the neighborhood councils. And if they get it approved, it goes up to their city council person, and it works its way up. So this is something that, when was this? This is this year, right?
Yes.
So this is very current, because this is like a street vacation application, any of these things, anything that gets the city away from their properties. So this is something we need to follow.
Can I play devil's advocate on this?
Yes.
No pun intended. But if they're providing the free labor for the median beautification and care, what's wrong with that, though? I mean, except for the fact that it does keep eyes away from them.
Because they don't do it.
Okay.
They do it for L. Ron Hubbard Way because it's there. But here, I've been dealing with them with this, and that's been like a little bit of a thorn in my side, even when I didn't really know what Scientology was about, was the fact that 10 years ago, they adopted the median, and they never kept their word. And that means the city's not doing it. See, that's why they go on L. Ron Hubbard Way. The city doesn't do the cleaning of the streets or anything, but they do maintain that. But so by them adopting the median, saying that they're going to do it, so then they don't. So then the city's left with look, this is overgrown, this isn't repaired, it's not like nothing's done. And the city's like, well, we can't do anything. It's not in our purview anymore. So it's really, unless they, now if they maintained it and to keep eyes away, it'd be great. I would have, not that I wouldn't have a
Okay.
problem with it, I'd have less of a problem. But the problem
Okay.
is that they're liars and they don't do what they set out to do.
Nope, that's what I wanted to understand.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And now I don't know what, if anyone wants to look up natives for, I'm going to think that natives for nature, I'm not sure. Like I know in California here, and there's a big push to get back to native plants because because there's a lot of species of, whether it's bugs, birds, trees, everything that made its way here is transplanted here, but it's created some kind of, ecological. I don't know enough about it to know what it's called, but I know there's a big push to do as close to native or and drought resistant, with the drought. So drought resistant plants. So I'm thinking it may have something to do with that. I'm not sure though. But dark sky, I don't know. I'd like to find out more about that.
Yeah, has anybody on here heard of the Dark Sky program in LA?
Yeah, no, we definitely have to clock this stuff right here. And especially since it's so new, they're looking to get involved with stuff. And this may be a direct result of what we're doing. They may be trying to advance they know we're here. They feel kind of maybe under siege, with Test Center and Blue. So now they're going to focus on this area thinking that we don't even know about it. But thank you. Who we do. So now eyes have to be on this.
I saw that, Susan P. Thank you very much.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
Sorry, Chad. I'm missing Chad.
That's okay. I am too.
Yes, labor trafficking. Yeah, see, that's what I don't like is that they get to, if they adopt the median, it takes away, because then all the regular maintenance that would be done, they're not going to do it. So it's just dark sky it does sound like a CIA operation. You're right.
It refers to efforts to preserve dark skies
from
in
city
and around
lights?
Los Angeles, primarily through initiatives to reduce light pollution.
Okay, that makes sense because the city lights and stuff. Yeah, we have a lot of city lights, but now we have these purple lights, which is really weird. Okay, so light pollution. Need sound pollution too. But I wonder why they would be interested in dark sky. Like, why would they care? Oh, so you can't see them, right? Okay, it all makes sense. Okay, you can't see them. Right? Like if we have dark skies, right, and you don't need as much light, it's the less you can see. That makes sense. Because when you're filming, you want more light. So you would think like a studio would be okay with lots of light. But they're not really about the studio. So interesting.
Yeah, that's
what, right, Amy, keep it so dark we can't see what they're doing. Exactly. Interesting. So we're getting our job assignments here. Okay. Is that it for this one?
Yep, it is.
Interesting stuff though. Like I couldn't wait to get this out. And thank you, Mona, again for doing it. And I will eventually learn how to do this. I still want to do it with Mona, but I want to be able to share it to my YouTube so I could have it going there too. But we'll get there.
This is just more communication from Lisa.
Okay. Is it the same thing or is it different?
Just apologies for not being able to attend. Could you please re-enclose the agenda for the next meeting? Somehow I didn't receive the attachment. I would like to attend also for the April meeting. Glad we are able to meet in person now too. So this was back last year.
So they may have been online for a long time because in the pandemic, everything went to Zoom. And then they finally opened up to where you could do both. And then they passed a law where you can pick whether you want to be on Zoom with certain qualifications, hybrid where you do in person and Zoom, or totally in person. So it's a hodgepodge now. Okay, so she's asking, she didn't get her thing. She's keeping herself very interested and very connected.
Right.
But I think we're going to find out more about that.
So this is it's September, but it's about the October meeting. The next meeting is October at Desert Rose.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know if that's I keep, that's where they had meet. I'm gonna guess. I don't know if that's like a restaurant. I don't know. Is anyone can, I didn't Google it. I've just been so busy. I haven't had like a deep dive on this stuff, but this is if we can all deep dive and then email me, please.
So next one, 3/10/2025. I'm assuming this probably has something to do with the fire letter, remember?
Hmm.
Below
Yeah.
attached is a concept letter. I'm not good at Google Docs. I think that's what she said in the other one. This may be a repeat.
So why was she involved in writing this letter?
I think she was.
So then we need to kind of look, then that letter takes on more significance because if they're writing it, then they're trying to get their agenda going in it. So we need to kind of pay attention. And I'm going to post all these things onto, my community page. I want to have a video so we have that, but I will post the live one so everyone can download it and look through it.
So this one is a little interesting. The subject is please sign this new code of conduct to continue being able to vote and participate on the committee. And so Lisa Alexandre said, thank you, Ada, done. She's on the committee?
Yes, that's the thing. I didn't want to say it. I knew it was coming. Yes, she joined the Cultural Heritage Committee, right? It's the Cultural Heritage one, right? And so she is on it. So we have official notice. Scientology is on their board and very involved, I guess, and influential. Now the thing she had to sign is anytime, but she's not an elected member. Like there's with the committees. Okay, so with the regular neighborhood council, you either have to be um, voted in, or if there's a open seat in between elections, you can be appointed by the board. But they're usually more lax. It depends on the individual bylaws, but usually with the committees, they allow people from the community to join. But so it's not like you can vote. You won't be able to vote like in the big thing, but you can vote and you can participate, but you don't have to take all the training that somebody at the council level, the neighborhood council level would, or a member, like, but you still have to have a little bit of training. And that's the code of ethics. That's
Their code of conduct. Yeah,
code of conduct. Yeah.
I'd like to see a copy of their code of conduct.
That's from Dunn. That comes out of Dunn. I could try to
Does
find
it?
that.
Could
Yes,
you get us a copy of that?
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
because yes, I can. I may have to, I don't know if I can I'll get that, but that's the code of conduct. We have different trainings. So I don't like every council. It's important to look if you're interested in the council. They all have their own bylaws. They all have their own different, like there's certain rules that come down from Bonk and Dunn. That's Dunn is like the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment. They're the they're supposed to be like guidance, but they've really taken like oversight.
Okay.
And then the city attorney is there like to kind of make sure everything, like they make sure everything is legal and so there's that involvement. Then Bonk is the Board of Neighborhood Commissioners and on top of Dunn. So these are all the oversight. So there's all rules coming from all of them, but then each neighborhood council has its own bylaws and sometimes standing rules. So it's important to kind of look through them to see, because sometimes we can catch them like right, Mona, when we were talking about like on the East Hollywood bid. Well, they had to be in good standing to have their seat here. And I think we can fully establish they're not in good standing with all these court cases against them. So sometimes you can catch them with their own rules.
Yeah, Marie had a really good point.
Yes, you're right, Marie. Excellent point. And right, if they're doing all this here, imagine they just know how to work the system, but they do it with a smile and like, oh, we're here to help. Yeah, we want to give you a tour. We're so like they make themselves sound very important. Like wow, we have this historic studio, and or we're ministers. We're going to clean the just everything, and just like that, you need them more than they need you.
Right.
But really, it's the other way around. They really need all these things to get to be able to do what they do. Nobody needs them. Right. But code of conduct is, but that's for like a code of conduct is something that all the neighborhood councils have to do and sign. You know,
Most
so
most
all of
boards
them.
have that. Most boards do. You have to have a code of conduct.
Right. And they may have their own code of conduct too within their, you know, they can have their own. There's a lot of leeway. They do give them a lot of, you know, like everything that all their bylaws, it has to be approved by Dunn and the city attorney, but they get to have say like, and they're very different. You could have one board, like two boards next to each other, and they're like night and day in how they do things.
Right. Okay, so on to the next one. Email from Lisa to Ada. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to make it tonight, but definitely want to attend the next one. She's kind of like a no-show on a lot of these meetings, huh?
Yes. So that, right. I think she just wants that her finger, you know, dipping her foot in the pond, but not really want to have to do the hard work. But normally, that's funny. In a way, it's funny because, and you know, like with the CPABs, they never miss because they're not going to miss being with the cop. It's like they know who's important and who's not. Because when it comes to CPAB, they will never miss. So that's why I was so shocked that Janet missed. And I know it's because, you know, we kind of made the hoopla. But, and then when it comes to, you know, the bigger things, you know, that they're on, like bid, whatever, Susanna doesn't really miss the bid. But see, neighborhood councils is so lower. And then when you get to the committee level, it's even lower. It's so they're like saying, okay, I want to be connected, or I want my influence. I want to be able to keep tabs of what's going on, but they're not going to really waste their time because they really have no real influence. But if she needs something, then she'll better believe it. She'll be, oh, we're doing this adopted meeting. She'll be at those meetings and, you know, and what we need to do. So you can see what they're doing.
Right. So the next one was just a Zoom link. This one is thanks for passing this on, Deborah. Lisa, what a great source of information. This was about that website. A lot of the advice resources featured on the site have already been shared through our channels, but the graphics you've created can certainly be of great use to us. Thank you for sharing until you get
See, this
stricken.
bothers me because this means that the neighborhood council is promoting Scientology resources and information.
Yep.
And that bothers me enough. I want to turn, I feel like I'm in the dark here, better turn on some light. But you know, we should be monitoring their by Instagram, whatever it is that they're doing. Man, now I really look like I'm lit up. But you know what I mean? So we should be keeping track of that too, because and if we start seeing Scientology's influence and footprint, it needs to be called out. We can, you know, it could be on Twitter, but I don't really do Instagram much, so I don't know if there's any Insta people out here. But if you can keep a track of their stuff, because I have a feeling they really put out, because this council is so prolific that I think that they really have a heavy input in, you know, in the Instagram. Because a lot of these people, they probably work for different studios. They probably work in the entertainment industry, lawyers. It's like, it's not high end neighborhood, but it's definitely not low end. There's a high end part of it. But these are professionals, you know, and, you know, a little bit higher end, you know, so they're, you know, they're like a professional community. So I have a feeling they're very big into, you know, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever it is. So I need
Right.
to keep track. That's all a question for me.
Okay, next one is, there's a couple of them in one. On May 18th. Hi, friends. I just wanted to make sure you and your committee members knew about the event on Saturday, social media crew. I am sure Dunn would love it if we posted the flyer on social media if we haven't done so already. Janet. Janet is Janet Kim, not Janet Whelan.
Okay, we need to know who that is. Wait a minute. If Dunn, okay, so I'm gonna have to do a CPRA on Dunn. Dunn should not be sitting there celebrating Scientology stuff. So I'm not really sure 100% what they're talking about here. Oh, is this for the cleanup?
Well, let me finish reading and then we can. Okay. So thank you, Janet. The LFNC is actually up for an award. Andy will be there, and I believe Brian Morrison as well. I'm hoping Deborah or someone from Environmental Affairs can also attend to accept the award. I figured PW&B, Environmental Affairs, and Cultural Affairs deserve it. I'll be there to document and plan on posting on social media tomorrow. Yay! I'll be emailing the full board tomorrow once I know for sure who will be there to accept the award.
Now, is
And
that from Lisa?
that is from Celine.
From Celine, and she's on the board.
I'm so excited that we're getting an award. Unfortunately, I can't make it. Gina and I are mediating a leftover District C conflict between a resident and the Scientology Media Center in the morning on Saturday. So it sounds like they were back and forth about an award that they were getting from somebody else, and Scientology just happened to be amongst the words.
Well, it sounds like also that, again, because we know Scientology are the absolute worst neighbors ever. And it sounds like there's a conflict between probably a neighborhood group or something and Scientology. And they're using that, they probably went to the neighborhood council, and the neighborhood council is trying to get involved and mediate. See, I wish they would do that here. I wish, you know what, in that sense, as long as they're not being biased, but see, that's how they but then she gets on the committee, so that's what they do, right? Because then it's like you're less biased at that point. But I wish East Hollywood or the BID would do that. Why don't they try to mediate these complaints?
Right.
They don't. So I'll give them that much credit that they're at least, if they are really being neutral. But I want to find out more about that conflict and what's going on with the neighbors. So I have a CPRA out too about no, I don't. I'm in the process because I have to find out who, I forgot. Well, I'm sorry, I'm losing track of it, whether I actually did it or I'm in the process of doing it. I have to see where I am, because I want to do a CPRA on all what the neighborhood is saying to their city council person. And I think it's Ramen. So I think I did do that actually. And I've been sending out so many CPRAs, I'm losing track. But we need to know, because, we did the one for Blue, and how many hundreds of people with these weird wacko, and I'm curious to see if it would be the same names that show up, so we have to see what's going on.
So then this is the last of the documents. It's just saying about the next meeting.
But the Janet, what's her name, so we can look her up? I mean, she may be on the committee, the board. I know, because I see what Marie's saying, like, what name are you using today? But I've never seen Janet use. Janet's pretty much uses. I know sometimes there's a Welland, but I always see Janet.
This was herself. Janet Kim at. Let me see if I can zoom this.
Awesome, Amy. I can't wait. Tell us what you said if you want, because I'd love to hear it.
So it's Janet Kim at lasfelicenc.org. So it's a person, whoever
on the board. So it's not Janet Whelan. Janet's too old to be. She can't handle this stuff this time at this age. Yeah, and we all need to, they're going to, we did speak up at the, I don't think, we spoke up at it, Andre and I did, at the one committee meeting. I think it was the public, one of their ones. And it was just so unbearable to watch. Like, I don't know, just their thinking. It wasn't anybody that I couldn't tell if they're Scientology or not, but they are just, some of them were just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I do not enjoy this committee, this board. But who knows? Maybe the big board might be better. We'll see.
How many people? It's like the central one and the east ones are smaller in comparison, right?
Yes. Yeah, this one has, I think, like 24, 25 members. And I want to say maybe 10 committees or 8 committees. And I think they're very active. They have active meetings. It's the most prolific one I've ever seen. Like, NoHo Neighborhood Council may have 22 members, but they only have maybe 4 to 5 committees. So this one's really big.
NoHo has 22 committee members or 22 members?
Yeah. Well,
wow.
Seats. I don't know if they have, that many, like, I don't know where they are right now. But yeah, they have about 22 seats. And where the board right next to them has 14, and I don't know how, I think Central Hollywood, I believe, is supposed to have 12, I want to say. And then East Hollywood, maybe 10 or 12 at the same time. So yeah, this one's huge.
Wow, that is a
They're
lot.
very busy. They're very, very busy at Los Feliz.
Yeah, wow. Learn something new every day, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I want to get involved with these, and it's not going to be that far from the blue. So I'm interested. I just wish more and more online so we can all do our calling. But there is the one that was online, and we did. I think we'll keep posting it but see, I know nobody knew what we were talking about, but now that we know, we'll have to keep tabs on these meetings.
Yeah, is their meeting in the evening like the other ones?
Yeah, because don't forget these people, they're all volunteers and stuff. So people, they are always going to be at night usually. I've never seen anything not at night.
Okay. Well,
And these,
that was the last document.
okay, so that was right. Like we got a earful. We know that they are officially on one of their committees, and she's very involved. She's even involved with writing this letter. So we just have to really pay attention. So I'm going to post everything, and then it's broken up. So it'd be like a lot of different, like little. I guess I'll do all the different Google Doc links, whatever, or Drive links, and then you just do one by one, and just have to do a deeper dive.
So on the next one that we were going to look at, do you want to have a separate live for that so that way they're not combined?
We could do that, or I could have it very well labeled, CPRA, like for Los Feliz, and talking about the Kirsten Peterson one.
No. One we were looking at today, the 130-page one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, we could do that because, like, you know what, that one. Oh, yeah. I don't know. It kind of. What do you guys think? So I do it different. Have we been on too long? Is it? I think we could do it, and then what I could do is even edit it into a separate. I could edit them and break them down into two different, videos.
True.
It's up to everybody if they're game, if they want to do more.
You guys up for a
Up
little
to
bit more?
that.
I promise we're not going to go through all 130 pages because a lot of them are repeats, but there's
some interesting tidbits, and we get to learn a little bit more about the players, and so it's up to you guys. They have meetings at 7:30, third Tuesday of the month. Okay, good. That doesn't compete with the others, so that's good. And where is it, Amy? Do you know? But it's up to you guys. Is there a poll? We could take a poll. Do you want us to continue with this one, or do a separate live? Maybe. Well, tomorrow I'll be down. I'm planning on going. Today, too much was canceled. I'm going to take care of other stuff, but it's up to you guys. Are you up for one more, or you want to? We can reschedule. Basically, I'll give you what it's about. I guess it's the portal that they copied the portals of all the different complaints to building services. So it is like 130 pages, but it's just a little, like a kind of a quick rundown of, we kind of figure out who the good. Well, I already knew that Baron was the good inspector, and the other inspectors, and how they see things differently. But I'm not all tech savvy. I'm astonished. Grandma, I'm not tech savvy either. I can't even. How long it take me to be able to read chat, and we just when I look at Australian no for profit page, it was a big surprise at how much money they get. Oh, I'm sure, and so I don't know. I don't at the Hollywood Lutheran Church. Oh, okay, interesting. I wonder if they. So it's up to you guys. You want us to do it now or do another time? I think we can get through this one kind of quick. We don't have to be on for too much longer.
It would. Let me stop sharing for just a second. Big face, and go to here. Let me shut a few tabs because I've got way too many tabs open. After so many tabs, my computer will go.
I want to post something on my wall. I need like a clock or. It's this week. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna put on mute. I have to get this real quick. Be right back.
Okay. We love your face too, great grandma. Hollywood Lutheran Church. Is that where the next meeting's at?
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, so this is, it looks like a portal to me. And Lord and I were like trying to say, okay, guess who the complainant was? You know, and we could basically figure it out. I think even one of mine's there. So it's like when people call building and safety services, there's a lot of these portal calls, and you know, and there's a little bit of like a blurb on some of them of what the complaint was. And it's, you're going to see a pattern of which investigators put things to the next level and which ones say, oh, there's nothing to see here.
Can
And we
these
need to
also,
clock
these are
their
also
names.
complaints that came through on the 311, right?
Yeah, it, well,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, 311, and if it goes to building, because it can go to different places. So these are the ones that go to building and safety, because Giovanni, and I like Giovanni. I've emailed him numerous times. He won't, he doesn't, he always tries, he'll forward my emails. He's forwarded my, concerns to like CD13, and he's very nice. I like him. You know, he's a good guy. So I hope he's a keeper. But these other ones, it's like, oh, there's nothing to see here. I was like, what?
Okay, so I'm not too sure how they have them dated. Because
I'm going to guess by the call, and then when they come and inspect, and then when they close, I'm going to guess. And I'll post
so this
too.
was barricade removal, East Hollywood. So it's for L. Ron Hubbard Way. Barricades will be removed after event.
So this is interesting. We see throughout this is that all the barricades, planters, all that stuff, when they had an event permit, was considered part of the event permit. So even, and I trust that with Giovanni Marin saying that if he's saying that, then it's probably pretty legit information. So the city must have accepted these things during the permit process. That's just my take on it. But I should ask him to be sure.
Then the obstructions, this is 1/30/2024. The business was cited. It doesn't say the what the obstructions were, though. Oh, here, the planters blocked the sidewalk. But see, this was before they put the planters out.
What month was it? What's the date?
1/30/2024.
So they must have had some planners out that they were maybe for, they put them prolifically, but maybe there were a few that were out.
Yeah.
That we weren't really paying attention to.
Because the main planners that we were complaining about didn't come in until June.
You know what? It could be the ones that they used to close the street. The ones that they were blocking, for the zigzag.
Oh, right.
Those were happening all along. It could be those.
Okay. So, but they were cited for it.
Good. And was that by Giovanni Marin?
Beckman?
Oh, wasn't Giovanni?
No, it was inspected by Beckman.
Okay, so we need to keep track of these inspectors too.
So then closed. Oh, that was closed. General street inspection, L. Ron Hubbard Way. The public street has been blocked off from public use by the Church of Scientology for at least over a month. The street is used by myself, other Angelinos, to get to Kaiser Hospital emergency services, aka this is a very important public street. Currently, there are Church of Scientology members telling people they cannot use the street, and the street has been barricaded. This is illegal.
Yeah, I'm glad to see the nurses getting involved. I wish they would do more of that.
Yep. Obstructions. This went through Central. This is, this was 11/15/2024. So this is our planter deal, but pictures of the planters and then the dead nothing in there.
And I see some of the ones, I know they're mine, were your bonds and super goals. I'm guessing that there are a lot of these.
I know you can hear the writing. The matter has been referred to the LA City Attorney's Office. Excessive planters obstructing sidewalk. It's difficult for parked cars to open their doors. Additionally, the planters are low quality and are rotting and have dead plants in them, which are infested with insects.
That was nice and descriptive. I like that.
That was Marin. Obstructions, planters. And then it was closed, saying these planters boxes are currently placed there under a valid special events permit. See, this was from 5/16 to 6/10, and they must have received an event permit to let the planters be there.
Yeah. Well, the event, right. So that's why I'm thinking that the event permits probably forgave a lot of things because all they had to do was part of our event. Okay. Yeah.
Illegal sign removal.
What about the illegal sign that's still there? That's the one I want to worry about.
5/9, and then it was closed on 5/23. Somebody moved one of those A-frame signs. Multiple A-frame barricades belonging to BSS taken by the security guard and removed to private property. This is theft of city property.
Wait, no way, Amy. Let me guess. Scientology? You can't put in Scientology? Wow. I'm guessing. Amy's the social media queen. She'll figure them out. She'll get around it. Okay, but back to business. So yeah, so the people
So
sending
this
in
is
pictures.
planters, giant planters restricting access. So it's the fire lane. Marin. Illegal sign removal. Yeah, here's the one. Here's our
This is
lovely
funny.
MD Media.
Yeah, there he is. He's doing the work like a champion.
So, Scientology security officers were in the process of removing the signs upon my arrival. This morning, a white male, scruffy beard and glasses, was putting up signs on utility and street poles in violation of LAMC Secured 28. Section 28.03. Has been doing this numerous times now without being fined.
We have to look up the LAMC. What is it? Can anyone look that up real quick and see what? I meant to look it up before we did this, but I got sidetracked because I want to see what they're saying. So they're trying. This is Scientology trying to get Matt in trouble. They're trying to get him in charges. And look at it. See, they use their cameras to get the pictures. That's pretty creepy and scary to me. So we need to write to them.
But when we need pictures, they don't have cameras.
And I wonder if I want to know if they go. I want to ask the police. Do they report people that aren't putting anti-Scientology stickers up? Probably not. Is that it? Yeah, yeah. If someone could tell us what exactly that is. I mean, I'll look it up if not after this. But
well, and the thing is that I thought the wanted posters or missing posters were okay. We need to look that up.
We do. That's why it's important to know the rules. Like, like none of us knew about the rules on bullhorns until we found out. So maybe it's good to be looking into this because they certainly know. Because, Jennifer loves to tell the city and write to the police and say, oh, here's all the laws that you're not thinking of, or she loves to inform them.
Yeah, this one is a broken sidewalk, but this is from 2016. Looks like they haven't fixed it since.
Nope.
Says the religious group equipment damaged the sidewalk. She wants these permits to stop. She wants them to be liable for fixing the sidewalk. Please contact Lieutenant Rivera. But it shows pattern. In 2016, they wanted the permits to stop and they destroyed the sidewalk. So nothing's changed. It's only been 9 years.
Same old, same old.
Bees or beehive?
Now, I don't know who put that in about the beehive, if that was private or if that was from Scientology.
This is when they sealed the cavities. No, this was 2020. So obviously they've had a bee problem for a while.
Easy. They have $2 billion, right? They could, you know how it wouldn't be, they'd probably do it for free. Get a beekeeper. They'll transport the bees because bees are so important here for our honey production that they would gladly move these bees.
But are they bees?
Yeah. They weren't wasps, they were bees.
Oh.
I think they're cute. I love them. I like going and watching them and hanging with them. They're so cute.
We're going to have to agree to disagree on
Yes,
that.
That's right. But I was like, no, I don't like the bees. And I'm like, oh, I love the bees.
Nope.
They're
No
the
buzzy,
bees.
no buzzy striped thingies. Ick.
Yes, I love them.
Okay. Obstructions, illegal lane closure, peak hours,
Fire
7 to
lane.
9 and 3 to 7.
Oh yeah, I remember they had that. Remember when they were starting to make changes? When was the date of that?
This was
Because
in
they're-
September 24. So
Yeah,
last
because
fall.
that's about the time they were starting, because we were pushing so hard that they started, and we also think because of the civilian grand jury, that remember they were starting to do rule changes, and they said they're going to have it open between certain hours.
Yep, I love the comment. It's a public street. They don't even pay taxes.
Exactly. I know. Like, I want to know who wrote all this stuff.
Obstruction,
Yvonne,
L. Ron Hubbard Way, planners. It was closed. See, this is that up to 6:10, that it was during, they must have put them there originally under a special events permit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because they were right. They're like, oh, it's a special, but then because I saw the one where it says, well, they weren't removed since then, so they put it in for. He did. Marin's the one that put it in for the city attorney.
So removal of the large planners. This is 10/24. The responsible party has been made aware, and we are working towards a resolution on removal. Resident requesting large planners be removed. So that was a resident. Probably the nail salon.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Tables and chairs. There's a special event permit. Another one for the beehives. This was 24. So this was last summer.
Yeah, that's when they came and closed it up. And I was like, I was mortified. Like, you know, I guess you saw, yes, I'll cry over animals, including the bees. I'll cry when they closed the beehive.
Well, here they're passing the buck.
Yeah, I saw it a couple times. I go to DOT, go to this, go to that agency.
Thanks, Haggis.
Thank you for looking that up.
She did, and do you want me to look at it real quick?
Sure.
Okay, let me stop sharing.
So we can kind of see what we're working with. Now this is the 28.03. See, and as we learn these rules, there's things that we could fight to change. Like, I think I think it's ridiculous that there's no bull, megaphone allowed. That goes against, only people union fights are allowed to use it. That's ridiculous. They should be allowed during it. Say, even if it's during a permitted protest, something, they should be allowed at some times.
So 2803, handbills, signs, building permission. No person shall paint, mark, or write on, or post, or otherwise affix, or attach any handbill or sign to or upon any building, wall, or part thereof, or upon any private property without the consent of the owner, agent, or occupant thereof.
Okay, well,
Was
this is
that-
public property.
Yeah,
That's not
so this
private
isn't
property.
private property.
Is there like maybe the next one? Sometimes the next
Well,
one will
they
build.
quoted 2803.
Right. See, they're trying to say it's their property. See, that's how they, wow.
So 2804 says no person shall paint, mark, write on. Sorry, dog's taking a drink. On curbstone, street, lamppost, hydrant, tree, shrub, tree stake, or guard, electric light or power or telephone pole. So this is the one they should have quoted. So bet your bottom to dollar that. Sorry, take over for just a second. I need to answer this real quick.
No worries. So wait, look at 2801. Okay, we'll go. I'll have to wait till Mona gets back. But at very least 2804. So we may have to evaluate what we're doing. But again, I want to see how many calls that they put in for that, and they figure out the laws. And we have to be careful because look how they're sending the pictures and everything, and the evidence of it. Although with anything like misdemeanors, the officers have to be present, so it's not like Matt has to worry about being charged, and because they can't.
But what I was going to say is bottom to dollar is that she or whomever from Scientology called and made this complaint and said, oh, he's going against 2803 without checking that it really wasn't 2803, it was 2804. So, but
tell me. It's set to look at 2801 too. Okay. So we have to be careful with this stuff. Because if they want to get you for something, like if they're really determined to get you for something, because look at even, what's the guy's name that does all over the place posting flyers. And it's not like I'm against flyers, but if they want to find something to get you on and a cop stops you and they really want to get you, you have to be careful with these, that you're taking a risk. You just have to know the risk and if you're willing to take it.
So that's handbill and tip sheet distribution.
So I know you can't do it in vehicles. That one I know. Okay, so now we have to be careful. We can't. So we're not going to. So what they're telling us is that we can't post our flyers on the
2801.
We can't hand them out. We can't put them on cards. So what are we going to do?
Right. 2801 is for distribution.
Yeah, but we want to distribute. Yeah. How about missing children flyers? I thought there was like an exception, but
I think there is, because I thought somebody looked that up and I can't find it. But
I'm going to have to go read. We're going to have to go read 28, just 28, the whole entire 28. Maybe not the second, but.
Yeah, okay. But thank you for looking that up, Haggis. You are the best.
Yes, thank you. And but we should all take a look at it, because you know what, this is where they can try to trip us up, because we had to stay one step ahead of them. And so now that I know, I'm going to look and I'm going to ask, because I have a meeting, I forget exactly when this week, with the LAPD again, with DOT and LAFD for the permit. So I will ask, what can I or can I not do? Because I want to make sure we're completely legal with this. I don't want anything coming back. Oh, look, you did, none
Agreed.
of that. So if it's word of mouth only, it's word of mouth only.
Yeah, and that's funny. They said they hand their stuff out.
Yep. Well, now we know we can get them for that, like film them doing it. They do it to us, like we're using their tactics on them, because I'm learning their time. I learn a lot from them, actually, all their shenanigans, and then you just do it back.
So this is planters again. Street tree inspection.
Oh, is this the crepe myrtle one? That was so funny. I want to know who this lady
Yeah,
is.
this isn't the funny one. That other one's hilarious. I would like to
So
have
funny.
someone come out and inspect the trees, how to coordinate approval on ideas having to do with the care of these trees. It's 36 great myrtle trees. Non-compliant vending, food vending.
We didn't get to the other part with that the tree.
Yeah, I know.
That was the best. That made this whole CPRA worth everything. Was just,
Street sweeping. It's not their road. They don't give a shit.
but see, that's it. But that's what I was talking
Obstructions.
about, because they took not ownership. They don't have a street vacation, but they do have the same thing as like adopt a median. They went into contract to care for that street. So that way the city will not come and clean it because it's not in their care anymore. And it's not just because they want to send their Sea Org members, it's because they don't want the city's eyes there. Let's face it, they do keep that one clean because they do love that street, but it's to keep people away. That's what all of that's for. That's why they're buying all the buildings, and getting rid of all the neighbors.
Sidewalk walk repair. An ACE was issued to Jennifer Crosskopf, legal officer for the Church of Scientology. They were issued a citation for the sidewalk. Obstructions, planters. They were issued citations for the sidewalk to Building Management Services, care of Gene Reynolds.
But wait, look at this address. You know whose address that is? You want to take a guess?
Surprise me.
Moxon's. That is Moxon's law firm's address.
Oh.
He's on Olive Avenue in Burbank.
Oh. Hey, TT. Hey, VGI.
So yeah, so they're using Moxon's address.
They're using Max. That's okay. I wasn't gonna guess that. I thought maybe Bridge or somebody.
Yeah, no, because he's on, unless there's a different building that they own on Olive, but he's on West Olive in Burbank. I want to go and see I want to go and film his address. It's not his house address, it's his office, so it's not like it's.
More pictures of the planters. Planters placed by the Church of Scientology officials, which are obstructing the public sidewalk and in violation of the ADA, making many areas of the sidewalk inaccessible for disabled people. These planter boxes are currently placed there under a valid special events permit. Wrong. Well, no, that was the June one. Yep. When they were first put there.
Hey,
Obstructions.
Kirby's mom. Sorry. Yeah, and so it's interesting. I can't wait to get to the Clinton lady. I want to know who this lady is.
They were talking about the closures, obstructions.
But then there's also some of them where you see that some of the investigators come and say there's nothing to see here.
Right. Well, on some of them, it's because they complain on day one, and 20 days later, the inspector goes out.
Yeah,
well, yeah,
it's not supposed to be like that. So it makes me wonder about, is that because Scientology said, hey, we'll be done, everything will be moved by this date. Can you come at this date? There may be some relationship there. So I think it's important to clock all the inspectors and who they are and what in their history.
So this was about illegal construction and the planters, quoting LAMC.
Wow, that's crazy, Peter. Yeah, they probably won't let him in, but I can go film outside. Oh, okay, that's good to know. And there's a lot of missing pet posters.
Tree permits.
This one's so funny.
No, not this one.
Okay. But the tree one, it just tickled me. Not a good
Yeah,
laugh.
I laughed over this one. Obstructions, planter boxes. Sorry, I'm going through it a little quick, but street sweeping, we know Dewey. Obstructions, planters. You guys were rock stars on sending in comments and complaints about these. You guys are rock
Yes.
stars.
A lot of complaints there, which
Concrete
is great.
mixer and work being conducted out on the street. That's the one, it was 6/3 and they went and looked at 6/27.
Yeah, it's a
Well,
long time. That was the one at the parking garage, the mixer, you know? And
yeah,
look, why did it take so long for them to go inspect? That's what I'm saying. Did Scientology call them and say, hey, you never know. I mean, it's
more
good. What's the names?
citation.
Can you tell me the names of those inspectors? So the one with the cement. I'm not saying they're necessarily bad. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to slander them, but it does make me want to
It was
wonder.
Marin. Marin.
Okay, then I'm more likely to incline that he's not. Maybe he was on vacation or something. Because so far he's the one, he's put in my complaints. He's escalated my complaints. He's the one that put it into the city attorney.
Okay, here you go. This
Okay,
one's yours. Street tree violations on L. Ron Hubbard Way. The crepe myrtle tree planted in front of 1420 L. Ron Hubbard Way died and was replaced with a new one, which died again. No idea why, as the trees have watering systems. The woman who is the owner of this property refuses to let a new tree be planted each time we have tried to put a replacement tree in place, claiming the tree roots damage her sewage system and that as the property owner, she won't have it. I've tried twice to plant a new crepe myrtle tree here, like the rest of the street, and she stands in the hole and refuses to allow us to plant the tree.
I love this lady. I love her. I want to be her friend.
Little bit of civil disobedience going on here.
Yes, that's
Oh,
so funny. And I wonder who's trying to plan it. Like it could be that it's Scientology trying to plan it because they maintain that street, not the city. So I think it's Scientology is trying to plant the tree. And she's like saying, no, I'm standing in the holes. Like, no way. Not today, Satan. Like, that
that
just
was
cracks me
funny.
up. But I got to
Oh,
see the address or whatever, because I want to see, is that one of the ones that they ended up buying? They probably
oh,
bought her place to get rid of her.
1420 L. Ron Hubbard Way.
1420. Yes, I definitely want to invite her to the Father's Day event. But I have a feeling that was a few years ago. I have a feeling they bought that place out. But I'm gonna have to we have to ask that neighbor. I saw him yesterday. I have to ask him about if he knows anything about it. Because that is just too funny. I love her.
Abandoned vehicle.
That's probably when they park the cars to like block everything, maybe.
Yeah. Obstructions. That's all the planters. And the grass, the fences of grass.
Fences are, yeah.
The grass and sidewalk should both be public access. All the neighbors are upset with this. It's such a safety hazard and upsetting for those who have passengers and park here and can't get out. See, the neighbors are not happy.
No, so they keep trying to buy all their neighbors out.
This is an old one about the bins. Street sweeping. We do not sweep the street. We send old people out to do it. Bureau of Street Services is not responsible for signage, painting, streets, or curbs.
Yeah, see, they all want to pass the buck. That's not our problem.
It's not our problem. We'll just let them paint all those red zones because they want to. That's no problem.
Oh,
All
wait,
those red curbs.
14, yeah, because see, it's not record. 1420, so I think the person still owns that property. The
You
one
can
on the
always
corner.
tell. You can always tell YRBs.
Yes,
She's
there'd be
got
20
lots of
pictures. Yes.
253 planters. So, this was 2019. No problem found with the sidewalk expense. Those
I find that
sidewalks
hard to
are all
believe.
messed up. Yeah.
And who's the inspector in that? That's.
Hold on, let me go back. Ginger,
Okay, so I'm curious about Ginger.
Ginger. More obstructions,
That could have been before Maren.
illegal lane closure, obstructions, planters. This was from 2023, so that was before flooding. 2017. They must have had a problem with that.
They did. I know they did. There was something with the pipes in the street. They had to dig up the street. That's why it's so weird looking. It doesn't match.
All the
They want to fix it.
planters.
That's why they're. And that's another thing. They got permits to fix the street and the sidewalks of L. Ron Hubbard Way, and they just let those permits time out. They didn't do anything.
They did. They got them during the encampment. And remember, they had all of the boxes of cement or pea gravel or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And
but they never redid the sidewalks. They never repaved. They're supposed to repave the street and repave the sidewalks, and they got permits to do so. So and I think they just used that as an excuse to bring in all that cement. So they, it looks like it's valid. It's just, but they never did what they. So where's all that cement? Like where did that go? And that's another thing we could talk about at the meetings. They got permits to fix the street. They got permits to, and I don't think the city's like necessarily worried whether or not they actually do the work. It's their, choice if they want to let it, the time roll. But they brought in all the cement for it.
Right. And what did so it was just a bogus.
Yeah, it was to hide the cement because the cement we know went into the cement truck and went down into the whatever they're doing, shoring up tunnels or whatever they were doing down there. And we're not just guessing. We're not being conspiracy theorists there. The actual people working down there said that's what they were doing.
Right. That's right. That is what they said. So sidewalk repair, barricade removal.
A tunnel work.
They cannot say that they don't have enough evidence that the fire lanes were blocked. They just don't. They've gotten so many pictures and so much evidence.
But that's because the fire battalion, the new battalion chief, who was safe pointed from day one, he kept insisting, well, we can get through. We can, and I called him out. I said, yes, but it would slow you down. He goes, so isn't anyone slowed down when I'm like, oh, well, I don't want my fire rescue slowed down. Like, you have a lot of people to rescue. Like, that shouldn't be slow. And he just totally took their line on it. And so then all the other ones, like the East Hollywood, the president, what's his name, Chris Martinez, who, but it's, oh, well, we're satisfied. If the battalion chief says that it's fine, then we're good. And that's just how he quelched all of that concern right then and there. And so thankfully, because Scientology is not the brightest on Easter, not thankfully, but what they closed the whole thing. They didn't even have the zigzag. So now we got them with the full, and what can they say then? They can't say anything at that point. Right. He can't zigzag through the sidewalk.
So here's our lady again, 1420 North L. Ron Hubbard Way. Car blocking sidewalk. The property owner at this address regularly, once a day at least, parks her white car in the entrance to the driveway, blocking the sidewalk and forcing people into the street to get around her vehicle.
Yes, he doesn't want them planting the dang trees. I like her, man. I do.
Oh.
She's funny.
We are almost general street inspection. Access ramps can be requested by a person external with a mobility disability or on the behalf of someone's with a no, you can't do it on behalf of. The website is safesidewalk.lacity.org. and you click on Access Request Program and follow the steps. And actually, this is when that lawsuit went through
Mhm.
back in 20, and you can't do it. That's what you were supposed to be able to do, but no can do, Brother Bear.
Well, I have one of those complaints in there for that for Fountain and where it meets Catalina. So I have a complaint in there, but they told me it's a 10-year wait. So
Yeah, I know. It's you get put on the list and you may get it. They have up until 2030 to do
yeah,
all their
I think
repairs
it's
to
30
spend.
years.
It was $1 billion settlement.
The Willits case. And I bring that up too at
Yep.
Public Works because I say, okay, I get that you have 30 years, but in 3 years, you have the Olympics, the Paralympics, and the World Cup in 3 years. So there's a bit, so that's another thing. If people want to try to try new things at these meetings, that's another good reminder that, forget, and they are doing, aren't they doing, Mona, I thought we saw that they are trying to
Yeah, they're
renegotiate the Willits decision because of.
no, they're not renegotiating it. No,
Okay,
it's
what are they
already been
doing?
it's a done deal. It's settled. It's $1.4 billion. What they're doing is they are trying to fit as many projects into it so they can uh, justify the. So if they spend $100,000 on sidewalk repair, they get to credit what they have to spend out of that 1.4 billion.
But I
So
heard, I maybe we didn't discuss it, but I had heard, I think I heard it from F Bomb guy. Maybe I need to pick his brain a little bit more about it to see what he's talking about. Because I could have sworn he was saying something about they're trying to renegotiate something or bring up. I don't know. I had to find out. But there's something I believe going on at I don't know if it's a legislative level, court level. I'm not sure. But I think there's some more stuff going on. But maybe not. I could be wrong. I had to ask him. But
it didn't get appealed. It got settled for the
no, I get it. No,
1.2.
I know
Yeah.
that. I know. But I
Yeah.
think I don't know if they're trying to do a secondary thing. I'll ask him because he was
Okay.
talking about it.
Well,
But I
that
don't
was
want
the last part of that was 130 pages. We
to.
whipped through
Well,
those real quick.
thank you. And the next one the next time I have a little bit on Kirsten Peterson, but I think I have more stuff on her. So maybe next time I'll try to find the other ones on her. And oh, hey, Gina. And thank everyone. I thank everyone who's contributed. So the more we get, because we're gonna get security, we're gonna get food, and we have to get trash bins. And then somebody's offering to like for they print T-shirts, so they're willing to just do if we want some T-shirts at cost for them. So and all different sizes. So depending on what we get, we'll see what we can do. But
Very
I'm
cool.
very grateful to all of you.
Very cool. Well, that was
Yes.
2 different CPRAs that we went through.
Yep. And then thank you guys and for everything and the CPRAs. And so I think if you guys like this format where we go through them and talk about them, and if you like this, right? I mean, if Mona's willing to, although I want to be able to pose, we're going to figure out how to do it to mine as well, so I can. But I like this. Like I enjoy hanging with my buddy, my partner in crime, and going through these things and bouncing off thoughts and ideas. And what do you guys think? Do you like it, or you guys want us to continue doing it this way?
Is it too boring?
See, I know maybe I'm just the one fascinated by CPRAs. I love them.
Oh,
But
Joe
anyway,
Banana says, I enjoy it too.
oh good. All right, and it's kind of good to see, and we could all, we're all learning about it. All this different stuff, right? So now we have something new to look into, right? And it's like good. We can all bounce off ideas, and then look, we go straight to the law. You guys doing the research while we're in live time, and we're all getting a greater understanding together. And now we know the new rabbit hole, and I'm excited that I finally got to get this out, and yeah.
Any more Alonzo blog that I don't really care. I really don't care. What are they going to do? Chop me off at the knees? Ha ha ha, I can't walk. What are they going to do? take my my retirement away, whatever. They don't scare me. What scares me more is not doing something. What
I
scares
want
me
them to know
more,
what I know. Are you
yeah,
kidding me? I want them to know that we know what they're up to, and they're on
point to the
blast.
fences.
And also, let me tell you, not only do we know, I spread this stuff. I submit, like, every time I get a letter, like, if I see a CPRA where Jennifer or Moxon is like bad mouthing the protesters, I counter it because I know they're going to see, they're doing the same things. They're CPRing. So that, but I'll tell them in advance, OSA, I counter everything you do. And so we're not afraid of you. But we don't tell them all of our plans. That's what we keep secret. I know sometimes people don't want to, they don't like the fact that we have to keep secrets. But you have to know, like that song, you have to know when to fold them, when to put it, your hand out, whatever. So there's times we have to keep, like, the permit. I didn't want to get that out there until we got it, because now they can try to fight it, and they probably will, but it's going to be harder for them. But it would have been easier had they known prior. So that you have to know when to be quiet. But I'm totally fine with them exposing all. I want to expose all of it, because they OSA is cockroaches. They like to hide in the dark, and so you have to shine light on them, and they scurry because they can't stand the light. They don't want us to say Kirsten Peterson is right under David Miscavige, and
Let's throw in shade to cockroaches, okay?
I know it's not fair to the poor cockroaches. I'm sorry, you little cockroaches. I love all living creatures, but OSA, you know, sorry, that's what you remind me of. And so I am totally good with them. So I hope that answers it. I'm not trying to be snarky or anything, but I don't care. Like, I'm not scared of them either, because anything happens, like, we put it, and that's the other thing for me, to put it on blast. If anything weird happens, whatever, they're like, oh, wait a minute, she just talked about this, so then I'm gonna put them on blast even harder
Mm-hmm.
and let everyone know. They're going to be on blast now for that dude that came after Streets, and that he was at Blue Building yesterday. He's going on blast,
That
and
was wackadoodle weird.
it is, but he's going on. That dude needs to be on blast. He's gonna, the, and so that's why they do this stuff. See, but now, it's because you know what they don't want. We've been putting Kirsten, and we're still going to put you, Kirsten. Every time I see that guy, anytime I see that guy, Kirsten, I promise you, we're going to double down on using your name and muddying it with everybody. Moxon, we're going to put complaints. We're going to just keep going hardcore. Anytime we see any of these people, anything like that, it's going to, because my theory is, like, when they first sent, and I totally believe they sent GDT, and he kind of went after me, and I'm not trying to I'm not trying to start anything with him, but my name was first mentioned the day I saw, and we confronted Janet at CPAB. So they thought I
That's
was just
right.
going to get into a one-on-one tit and tat with him. And I said, I'm not even going to mention his name. I went after Janet. I mentioned her name. I plastered her name. And
Girlfriend.
that's what you have to do. Like, this guy, I'm not going to plaster him. I'm going to plaster those who I think are sending him.
Yep,
And they want us to be
exactly.
scared.
I honestly, the last time when were we doing the CPRAs? I honestly had a PI pulled down my street, sat in front of my big maple tree, was filming me. I'm like, dude, no, this isn't happening. So I got my camera out and I was filming him back as I was sitting here in my picture window. Like, no, that's not happening. First of all, you're amongst cornfields here. I can see you. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's not like you're hiding behind the buildings. It's you right out here in the middle of the cornfields. You can see who's coming to dinner next week.
And guess what? We're going to figure out who you use, who your investigators are in all the areas. We're going to figure that out. Because
Yep.
we got confronted too. I mean, I've been confronted by investigators, and I've seen them, and they pretend, oh, like, you just know, and they even admitted that they were a former cop and stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay. And so we're going to figure out what companies you use. People talk. People want it. There's so many people that want to tell the truth, and they'd be surprised that who we talk to and who we know, that it would shock them. So I'll leave it at that. But thanks,
Sorry, I
Alexis.
had to
I
mute
agree
it.
with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? They try, but you know what? It's like I have to, like if you can be intimidated, but what then they win. The better thing is to just turn it around on them, and it's either I'm going to be chased or I'm going to turn around and chase them, and I'm determined to turn around and chase them and go harder. Like every time I feel like they're like now with these funeral calls, these funeral planning calls, I know it's them. The timing is too weird. It's every time there's something up, that's when they start. It's like it doesn't scare me. I am, like so I'm going to out you. I'm going to find your little company, and we're going to let everyone know what you do. Your dirty little tricks.
You dirty little trolls. Dirty little trolls.
Yep. And that dude better put you. They better like. I better never. I'm going to tell you. Oh, so right now, seriously, I better never see that dude again. If I see him ever again, I'm putting you on notice. Like I am going to double down. Like you think? Like I've been easy on you guys up until this point. Sorry, my guess is he wants attention. Okay, baby. But so she's like, you've been on too long. Like come. So
I know.
I'm just gonna say that. Like I'm gonna double down because I think I've been very gentle with Scientology. I think I've been very kind of like soft gloving them, but the real fisticuffs, the real gloves will, they'll come off if I see that dude again anywhere. Like if I even get a glimpse of him, then I'll get tough. So I think I've been a softie.
Can you please let those of us know who don't know what happened at the testing center? The only thing that I know is that there was a guy there that was sent out to harass streets.
It was
Some
bad.
Abu Dhabi guy. Yeah.
Like Brian Borland, like the Brian Borland incident, but it was worse. He was even and look on his Scientology audit. And it was just really disturbing, scary. And then I saw him. I didn't realize it was the same guy until later, but he was at the Blue Building. He claims he's a Scientologist, and so I just better never see him again. That's my only warning. And I'm not threatening anything. I'm going to do anything, but except I'm not going to be so nice. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to be as nice, gracious, and genteel as I've been. I'm going to get mean girlish.
Thank you, Scientology Up North. There's the video if anybody is.
Thank you. Yes, it was very disturbing.
So Haggis just said, I was wondering if that was a Braille skateboard. Ha ha ha. Like a blind person skateboard or Braille from the guy from San Francisco. That always cracks me up when I hear them. Like, blind people are skateboarding now.
But you know what? The interesting thing about this is I don't know where this guy came from, but I remember somebody, actually Tatology. I need to ask her about this. There's some big skateboarder Scientologists from I want to say Sacramento, but I'm not sure. I have to get more information on that. I would like to, maybe she could tell us. Maybe we could pull her in sometime if she's willing to talk about it. But I know she was telling me about this, and so it could be from that. But I don't know where this guy came from. He just seems to come out of nowhere. And he's unhinged. This kid is unhinged. But he sounds to me like I think Yvonne made a really good point. He does sound like he's going off script, like he's trying to remember a script and can't. Because at first I was like, is he like Brian Borland? Because Brian Borland seemed like he was high or drunk or something. And this kid is like, kind of, but it does kind of sound like he's trying to remember a script.
No, remember that lady, was it up in Portland, that came out and she was kind of wackadoodle? Wasn't that the one that somebody went, and you're still in a cult, Tammy, or something like that? It was funnier than hell. But she was coming out and she was acting all weird like that. It's like, train them a little bit better. Give them better acting lessons. If you're going to send actors out, give them better acting lessons.
Yeah, like that lady at Big Blue with me at La Poubelle, and like they're so whack. Like they get such, I don't know, unhinged people. That's to intimidate, but we're not, like, if they will get it through their head, we're not intimidated by it. Like we know what you're up to. Like you should be intimidated by us. Like really, I think we're,
Yeah, Methany. That's right. Her name was Methany. Well, we called her Methany.
These people,
Yeah,
so
no,
I don't know.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I just refuse. Like, for anyone, and if I ever get a moment where I feel nervous, I talk myself out of it real quick. Well, for me, I'm like, I'm trusting God above to take care of me. And if he doesn't, whatever. And it's like, you know what? I did everything I can, but I know he will. But you know what I mean? Like, we're doing what we can for the cause. I can't live my life in fear. I can't live my life and that's the problem. People didn't do anything because for so long because of fear, and that's what they count on. But see, there's safety in numbers, and look how many of us, we're growing in numbers, and there's a safety in that. So all of us are getting bolder. We're all joining arm in arm, and and I think they're getting to the point where it's coming from all angles, and they don't know where to turn. Their numbers are going down, our numbers are going up. And so
Yep.
they're gonna have a lot of fires to put out right now. So if they're so worried about little old me, then if I'm their biggest problem, then I guess it should be a good day for them.
Right. That's right. Two old grannies,
In chairs.
wheelchair, two old DBs.
It's so funny. Yeah, I don't know, just. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But a
Yeah.
good point, and I'm glad you brought that up, Alonzo's blog, to talk about it, because we don't want anyone, and I know people, I know someone else who's like they are feeling intimidated and scared, and it's okay, but it's just like just push through it, just and whatever you can. Like you have to, I mean, of course you have to be concerned with safety. Nothing wrong with having cameras. Always look behind you. If you need to, what you have
Know
to do to
your
protect yourself.
laws, know your laws,
Hmm.
know your where you can get cited, where you might get arrested, know what you can and can't do. And there's so many different ways of protesting. Protesting doesn't mean standing in front of a building. Protesting does not always mean litigation. It doesn't always mean yelling at people. It's putting up flyers, it's researching, it's being a gadfly
Hmm.
when you need to be a gadfly. It is all sorts of different things, and everything is important.
Every
Like
aspect of it.
Aaron said the other day, and I agree with him, there is no wrong way to protest. There really is no wrong way.
Hmm. I agree. They're all right ways, and sometimes it's just like this research. That's a form of protest, because I get people, like, I don't know if I mean, people may not want me. I'm not going to say names because I don't know if they want me to say anything. But the people that send me the info, and sometimes they worry, they're like, "Oh, am I over sending you my?" I'm like, "Send it. I love it, because if I don't use it, then I still put it in I still have it, because I may refer to it down the road, or I might want to write about it, like, down, whatever." So no, I love it. So, and that's a form of protest. You're helping us who are doing this get, to find the rabbit holes and stuff. Like, if it wasn't for that one guy at the police commission, we wouldn't have known about Lost Police. I don't know when we would have known about it. So
Right?
it all counts.
Yep, every little bit counts. Alrighty, anything else for the good of the order there, ma'am?
No, I think, sorry, God, we kept y'all for 2 hours. We're sorry. I didn't want to try to keep us too long. I know it gets long. People have to live their lives. So, but thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for, right, the chats. Thank you, Mona, for having us. Thank you for everyone who's promoting the Father's Day. Like, I'm like a little nervous. I was like, but I'm glad, even though, like, because it looked like we weren't going to get it, but then they finally, as long as I took over it, whatever, they're allowing it. And I still have to meet, like I said, with DOT, LAFD, and the police department, and we'll see so I guess they'll give the final rules or what we can or can't do, but I'm excited.
Yep, way cool. Okay, you
Yep.
guys. We'll see you in the morning.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, guys. Bye.